Michelle from the Sunshine Family, talking today in my video about buying property in Costa Rica. As I'm standing on my own property in Costa Rica in the province Punta Arenas, I will be telling you more about why I personally choose to not have a mountain view, to not have an ocean view, and why we choose to buy this specific property at the countryside, at the Peninsula de Nicoya, close to Santa Teresa, San Isidro, Delicias. That's where my location is. And if you're searching for this topic, this might be an awesome video to watch until the end, because I will be showing you around on my property. I will show you where we discovered like a secret path, and like just give you an impression about which choice to make, because it's a huge choice. And of course, what type of property you will be buying in Costa Rica has everything to do with your budget, with your intention. So if you're gonna live there or rent it out, and of course you know, your preference, like do you want to live close to the ocean with all the disadvantages that there are existing to living very close to the ocean. So stick to my video till the end, and I'm excited to bring you this information. Hey, and before I forget, if you like my video, give me your thumb up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because when you also hit the bell icon, you get a notification every time I upload a new video, so you don't have to miss it. If you're looking for info about Costa Rica, Costa Rica life, Costa Rica expats, buying property in Costa Rica, this is the channel that you want to tune into, and I look forward to serve you with everything that I've learned myself. So as I'm walking from my front gate to the back of my property, 5.4 acres of land here in Punta Arenas, Costa Rica, Peninsula de Nicoya, I will cover a little bit about the advantages of this location where we are. It is officially, the property is located in San Isidro, but it's like 300 meters before the bridge to Delicias. And while you see on this side the other half of my property, on this side another half of the property, that's the side where we are constructing. We bought 2 old buses. We're like in the middle of constructing the existing house, reconstructing, and I'm walking towards the garage. That is totally operational, the dream of my husband, because we drive an old Range Rover. But why did we choose to buy 5.4 acres instead of an ocean view, ready to go house or villa for the price that we pay for it? So we paid $300,000 for 5.4 acres of land with an existing water meter, running water of the local Asada water company, with operational internet and electricity on this side of the property. So we bought 2 pieces. The other side is over there. There was nothing there, so officially not possible to build. Now, we looked not at so many properties, but we lived close to the ocean, and we lived semi-close to the ocean. We have the house that we lived close to the ocean. We kind of fast discovered the disadvantages of living close to the ocean, because when you live close to the ocean, or you will be living super off the grid where no one can reach your location, the same for you. So you probably have to use a very dangerous road that can be really muddy. So that's the first big disadvantage of, by the way, here's my garage, of living very close to the ocean, is that there will be or a lot of people close to your house, a lot of shops, a lot of traffic, or you're gonna be so remotely living because you live close to the ocean but very laid back, but you know, it's hard to get there also for yourself. So you have to consider if that's what you want. In general, you will be not the only one who wants to live close to the ocean. So it's more or less way more expensive and way more people. And you have to realize that also when you live like right at the beach, that officially in Costa Rica you cannot own the beach property. So while I'm now walking to the end of my own property, like on the road that's cuts the two pieces of property in half, I'm standing now at the very end of that mid road. So in the back now you see the garage, and this is a jungle. We have a jungle zone, a green zone at the very back of our property. So we choose to stay away from the ocean view and to choose for space. We know a lot of people that have their own property in Santa Teresa, Montezuma, and Hermosa is like a super small village like close to Santa Teresa, and Malpais. So 10-20 years ago it was super easy to buy a good property for a good price, but like these days it's kind of expensive in a way that compared to what you could buy like 10 years ago, you don't have 1/10 of that. So basically for the price that we paid for 5.4 acres, you could buy a tiny piece of property fitting one ready to go house, and then still for $300,000 probably you're not finished. So you have to do a lot of stuff yourself. It's very tricky to buy property without being informed if there is you know, what the situation is, how many neighbors will be building close to you, especially in those ocean view beachside zones. You know, it can be a wild west of people building to building, so building their house next to your house. I know many stories of that, so that's why we really decided to just look inland. We live like 10 minutes, 15 minutes drive by quad or by car to the ocean view and to the ocean, and we live at the countryside. So while I will be walking to the not construction side of my property, I will show you also that we digged a well and what you see around you when I'm walking. So we have 5.4 acres with water, electra, Wi-Fi, and 180 mango trees with a lot of animals. So we choose space over luxury, ready to go house and an ocean view, or even with a mountain view. Let me talk about mountain view and the disadvantages of having a mountain view. Actually, I don't really know the disadvantages of mountain view. What I do know is that mountain view can be discovered on your own property. Funny enough, I have friends, they bought a piece of property which was available without mountain view. And they cut away some trees on their own property and a mountain view appeared. So it's also having the knowledge about, you know, the area, talk with people who know what kind of view is hidden behind huge trees. You cannot just cut down trees. So sometimes you can, of course I'm walking on flip-flops here in the jungle. Mountain view can be discovered on your own property. It's the same as that we discovered on our property, a hidden path that is more going down to the river or from the river up. Let me show you a little video that I made while discovering this path. that's where the garage is, behind that hill. I was walking from the garage to the well that we have digged by a team, and behind the well you don't really see water, but there's the river. That's empty now, but it's getting with water soon because the rainy season just started. So there in the distance you see an old tree. Dirk is cutting wood from it to use for furniture, but that is the path where we had to turn back because we need to cut we need to cut it clean, but that's basically where we discovered this awesome path, and it's shown from this side, but it gives you a little bit of an impression about how huge it is. Now while I walk down to the riverside, I just wanted to tell you the advantages of having a larger property, a little bit more inland, and the benefits of it is that there's lots of animals. Lots of families of monkeys live in those trees, and we have a lot of type of birds, and because there's no other construction here, we will be the only ones living on this property with 3 constructions. We are building a new house, a 1-bedroom apartment for Dirk's mom. We're gonna build our own house right behind me on that hill, and we have the existing roundhouse that we painted orange and that we totally reconstructed with an open bathroom and stuff, which is like a ready-to-go house to live in, which is in pretty good state, but like a Tico design, but it's a very solid earthquake-proof house, so we didn't want to just let it hang there and that it gets old without being used properly, because it's really a nice house. Well, the mosquitoes are eating me alive. I forgot to put mosquito stuff on. This is the house, this is the property. This is where the property hits the riverside. You see? So there's the empty riverside, and the other side of my property is cowland. So there's a farmer having his cows there eating grass. So it's pretty rustic here. And look, this is also our property. So while I'll be walking up again, you perhaps have, so this is the green zone on the back. A little, oh, and there is the road. In the far distance, perhaps you hear a car. So that's the bridge to Delicias. Right in the center of my screen is the bridge to Delicias. And one of the bigger benefits of having a property as this is that you have nature. You can just preserve nature. You can enjoy, basically live an intentional life. That is what we truly wanted. Live an intentional life, start a veggie garden, and enjoying being surrounded by nature on a property that is also like a project, because there's a lot of work on a property like this. It's super large, and we choose to also do construction, reconstruction, and we have bought 2 old buses, super fun for the kids and for future guests. It is a way of intentional living, right? We do enjoy nature, we do enjoy eating healthy, meditation, and this property combined with an ocean view, more expensive, higher price property is for us the reason to have chosen this property with lots of space. Just listen. So in the distance you hear monkeys, you hear birds, you hear my it's super humid, getting deeper into rainy season. And let me walk now to the place where Nick and I entered the property again after walking that discovery path. So while I'm walking to the gate side and the road side of my property, over that piece where we're not constructing yet, only where the water well is and the riverside is and the garage is. This is my biggest advice to do before you buy any property in Costa Rica, is that you have to get the property as good as you can before you buy it. So if there's an opportunity for you to win time, to visit the property in different situations, so in rainy situations, in sunny situations, to see what the land is doing, what is growing there, how the water is behaving on the ground, how the plants are behaving. Like, for example, if you live a little bit more in the mountains and it's more like curved property, you want to know what's happening above you. If there's, for example, in Santa Teresa, they're building more up the village, so with ocean view, but right above you they can be building a property, building a house on a property. And what happens with big rains, right? What would happen if there would be a landslide? Would it just totally turn down your house? You would probably think, yeah, but there are rules for building. Yes, of course, but not everyone is obeying those rules. I know stories about from our best friends. They have a beautiful million dollar mansion above Santa Teresa. They had no neighbors, but there was a wealthy neighbor who literally totally changed the whole landscape. He totally made the space between their mountain and the next mountain disappear by just putting all the soil that he used for construction and to flatten the land into the gap between the two mountains, and there is no gap anymore. So literally he's changing the landscape. You want to know what's happening around you. So this is a kind of flat, like very light curved property with in the back the existing house. You see there, you see little orange, that's the existing house. Behind me is the road, there's the gate where I was standing, and this is where the path comes out from that we discovered, that just goes next to the riverside. So this is just half of my property. Now 5.4 acres versus an ocean beachfront villa with just on a little square piece of ground. I prefer this, but of course, like I said, buying property in Costa Rica has to do with your intention, your budget, your preference. So think about it and get to know the property really, really well before you buy it. What is what rights does your property that you are looking at have? Are you able to build there? How many square meters on the property can you build? Is it 80%? Is it like nature reserve? That's just 20% of the property that you can build. There's so many things to think about before you buy property. Please pay attention. And also and that's basically my biggest point. Are you going for space like ours? Or are you going for ready to go, smaller? It's all choices, and you have to watch out also for stories, but I share that in my other posts, videos. I made other videos about buying property in Costa Rica. So here's the existing house that was there. We closed, this was a patio. We had a little construction team working on this to close this, so it's more practical to use house. It has 2 bedrooms now, plus a semi extra bedroom, and this is the other corner of my property. You want to know if the property is registered on the right way, that you're not buying a property that's already someone else's ownership. I know stories about that from people who I really know pretty well. And let me just walk. So this is the other end of my property. So now I'm standing on the construction side, And this is what we like so much. You know, having projects. We built the fence ourselves. We really don't prefer having workers, paying workers, because it's also a responsibility. Dirk always loved to build things himself, and we are in a kind of luxury position that we do not have jobs. We're entrepreneurs, we work fully online. Basically, we work a couple of hours per day, and that's basically it. So we actually choose this intentional living, perfect fit property so we can have these projects. It is an outdoor kitchen that is now repurposed for the front side of the veggie garden. So I made this path behind me. We're making a wood wall over here to reuse the greenery that we cut away. Here is behind me the veggie garden that Dirk built. Let me just walk over here. So talking about intentional living, you know, eating healthy, being with your hands in the soil, it all fits our preference. And I know many people just want to buy property in Costa Rica, buy a ready-to-go house, ready to go, and that's what's making them happy. Well, this is what's making us happy. So while I am painting the house, Dirk will be constructing the roofs for the 2 buses, because they are not fully waterproof. And also they're getting too hot now while standing in the sun. But one of the buses is ours. That's where we sleep and where we have our office. And the other bus behind me is Nick's room. I can actually show you. It's my son's room. He really wanted it. And that's all possible when you have so much space, right? Because one of the disadvantages of having a small property is that you're stuck with the property and with the square meters. And with 5.4 acres, there's so much more possible. Let's enter my son's bus. Okay, so this is Nick's bus. We still have to do some things, but we put a floor in, we painted. We preserved 2 couches, put them in. So we need some more furniture. Dogs are not allowed in the bus, Joey. And this is his messy bedroom corner. But here's some furniture, some cartoons, some friends. And that is basically his playground, his space, right? We're gonna make a little table here. Where he can do schoolwork. Dirk built this from existing bamboo that we have on the property, and some we cut away at a friend's place. And this is the house, so he's really close to the house. And there's Dirk, and there's Nick. So Dirk just constructed this roof, and there's a lot to clean up, but this is our way. Okay, let me walk you to the back of the other side of the property and show you how it looks like from that side. Also called bodega, where vehicles are parked. Normally the car is at the garage Probiteve check, that's like the yearly checkup for vehicles, motorized vehicles. So basically you have seen in a nutshell my property without looking in all the corners. But in a nutshell, I do not have disadvantages of mountain views. I do have lots of disadvantages for you to know about ocean view, because the roads are often pretty steep when you live high. A lot of neighbors. You don't know which conditions the road will be when it's dusty, when it's wet season. I prefer living in the countryside because it's super quiet. Let me walk back where my video started. I prefer having no one around me and having lots of nature around me. I choose for space over comfort, starting in a ready-to-go house. We are project-based people. We love to construct and create. We're entrepreneurs. We work for ourselves anyways, and we love intentional living, which is so possible here. No one ever going to disturb you when you do your morning meditation whatsoever, versus living in beach towns like Santa Teresa, where they're building a wall to wall basically. And yes, all these mango trees. It is a blessing how we found this property. It was via, it was not on a real estate market. This is my tip to wrap my video up with, over the warning that you should always think really well about which property to buy, that you want to know the property, investigate the property before you buy it. Does it have water, or does it have options to dig a well? Not every town allows registration of new wells, and without water, a well or an ASADA or AYA water connection, you cannot build. So those are all things to consider. What does the land do in different seasons? What will happen if the weather is playing part? Is there danger for landslides and you know, tearing down your house? Can you just do gardening? What type of ground, what type of soil can you build on it? Is it like fast soil with rock, or is it super soft? All things to consider. So while I entered the gate where the tour started, I hope that I inspired you about buying property in Costa Rica, it was helpful, all the tips that I gave you. If you want to learn more about what it is that I do to make my living online fully with internet connection, living basically on the countryside of the grid here, then just hit the very first link under the video and check out my other videos that I do on this YouTube, and subscribe, of course. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to get updates every time I upload a new video, because it's my mission to share everything that I've learned as an expat mom living here in Costa Rica with my husband Dirk and 2 growing up kids. So thank you for watching. Let me know if it was helpful. Share the video if you think others can benefit from, and give me your thumbs up. I appreciate you. Pura vida!